Hey there, I'm Natasha Tony. Welcome to the NTC TV YouTube channel. I'm a content marketing strategist and consultant, and I'm here to help my clients tap into the power of content for their brand and for their business, implement sustainable strategies to create content and market their business confidently, and become a voice of value online and in real life. And today I want to talk to you about why 99% of content advice, especially in this online space, can be and at times is misleading. Now, before we get into it, 3 things that I want you to do. Number 1, I want you to share this video out because I know you know someone that could benefit from this information. 2, subscribe. Get the notification for when I go live next week, technically every Thursday, 7 p.m. here on YouTube. And 3, sign up. Yes, if you enjoy YouTube videos from mine, you're definitely going to enjoy the emails that I send out on a weekly basis. So the link to sign up and subscribe and join my NTC community is in the description box of this video. Now, before we get into it, I do want to ask you a question. Are you taking pages out of a playbook that actually does not align to the emerging brand or business that you have or am launching? And the reason why I ask that is because for many of us solopreneurs, we are taking pages out of playbooks that really don't align to the brand and businesses that we are building, to the impact that we actually want to make, and to the overall way that we want to show up in this online space. And what happens is a lot of times we're taking pages from playbooks that don't align to what we're doing, and we're trying to piece together and piecemeal strategies and processes to make things work. And when they just simply don't work, we simply are at a loss. So if this is you and you're trying to figure out and understand, knowing that content is important for your brand or business, knowing that showing up and marketing your business confidently is important, but you really have no aim. You know, you're doing this aimless. You have no strategic direction. I want to introduce you to the content playbook. This is an 8-page playbook that I put together that really introduces you to my 3-step AIM method. AIM is a framework that really breaks down content and marketing for solopreneurs in the most simplest way. It's a 3-step method because it's about generating awareness, building and accumulating interest, and providing a marketing method that's going to empower the people in your community to really tap into the value that you have, right? So this is really all about creating content and laying out your content and strategy in a way that turns your value into something valuable online. Really is about developing a sustainable strategy for your brand and for your business. Make content work for you. So if you are someone that's interested in downloading this playbook, you can head to bit.ly/content_playbook, bit.com/content_playbook. Once again, bit.ly/content_playbook. I cannot wait for you to download that playbook because I know for sure it will definitely be beneficial for you. So today's video is around why 99% of content advice is actually misleading. And by that, I simply mean that the content that we get here in this online space, just pulling up my notes here, the content that we get here in this online space can and sometimes be misleading for us solopreneurs and service-based business owners specifically. Because what happens is when you are operating from a lens of a service-based business, meaning you are working directly one-on-one, or you're working maybe one-to-many, but in most cases one-to-one, and you're in this space and you're trying to create content and tap into content marketing for your brand and for your business, a lot of times the type of content advice that we get can be misleading. And by that, I mean it could be from a lens of someone that's either not in the same position as us, someone in a whole totally different industry as us, and we're trying to piece together the bits and pieces of content and advice that we get so that we can put together a strategy for ourselves, so that we can implement something for ourselves, move the needle forward, increase brand awareness, put ourselves out there, market ourselves more confidently, attract and draw in the type of people that we want to have invest their time, energy, and money into our services and into what it is that we offer. But where things can get a lot misleading is the actual advice itself. And a lot of this is not ill-intended. Again, most of the content advice that we get in this online space really is from a lens of people who are doing something that we either want to do or in other spaces that likely might be a little different from us. And so our job is to take that advice and really apply it to our own situations. And some of those things that we do apply may not always, will fly technically, with our brand and with our businesses that we are building. So really where we get off with a lot of content advice being misleading are from those lenses. But if I could break down maybe 3 specific reasons why most of the content and 99% of the content advice that we get here in this online space can be misleading for so many of us if we are not careful, is one, that a lot of times the type of content advice is around, things like posting certain times a day, or being consistent, and outside of like being consistent is really, not always from a place of strategy. It's more so a place of trying to win on a platform or hack the algorithm and things of that sort. And the reality is most of us solopreneurs started our brands and businesses not for the simple fact of being in content creation mode all the time. Most of us, in fact, a lot of us started our businesses or brands because there was an impact that we wanted to make. There was something that we wanted to see in the world. And we knew and understood the importance of creating content. That's one thing for sure. However, we just did not understand how to make it work in terms of marketing and delivering our message and putting our value and ourselves out there as confidently as possible, attracting the community, attracting the people that we want into our spaces so that we can ultimately have the greatest impact or the most meaningful impact in what we do. Plain and simple, all I'm saying is we understood that content is important. However, we knew what it is that we wanted to do. We either wanted to help people deliver babies. We probably wanted people to help get their finances together. We wanted to help people get the back end of their businesses together as virtual and admin assistants. We had either a personal experience that really shifted us to go into the spaces that we're in now and to make the decision to launch a brand or business, or we sat at a job and we recognized that there was some viable skill set that we had that was getting recognized or maybe not recognized as much, but we knew that we could make a much more meaningful impact if we took our skill set and our expertise and directly applied it and supported the people that we wanted to support. So we got into this online space, and the content advice that we're getting is likely from people who have been in these spaces before us and or have found some success in some way, shape, or form in this space, and we are piecing together all of that advice and we're trying to make it work. But when in fact some of that advice is really coming from a lens of not ill intent, but it can be misleading if we're not careful on how we apply that information or that advice to our brands and businesses. So one piece of advice that can be misleading is a piece of advice around posting 3 to 5 times a day to be consistent. Now, recognizing that content creation and content marketing is probably a very low cost way for many of us solopreneurs to market our businesses and to put ourselves out there. Social media being a form of content marketing in terms of you're showing up either on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever the platform that you're using, and you're marketing your business in a way that you're trying to get people to know that you exist, generate awareness, to get people to click links in the bio, visit your website, sign up, book a call, anything of that sort. Now, the thing is, understand that the type of business that you have, you likely posting 3 to 5 times a day may not be needed, or in fact, at times 3 to 5 times a day can come off as very unsustainable if you're not clear on the type of processes and systems that you need to have in place in order to show up 3 to 5 times a day consistently. And I say that to say is because when you're posting 3 to 5 times a day, it can come off as if like, whoa, I am really sharing a lot of content 3 to 5 times a day. And unless you are on the platform that you are using where you're solely focused on that particular platform, 3 to 5 times a day likely will be ideal. And i.e., I'm saying Instagram, for example, or even Twitter, right? Platforms like that where you may want to show up more regularly throughout the day. However, if you do not have the back end set up, meaning you do not have an additional touch point in place, in terms of when someone finds you on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, they can't click the link in the bio. There's no link there. If there is a link in the bio, it doesn't lead to anything. So if you are not leveraging the platforms that you're on to taking people to next steps within your framework, within your strategy, anything of that sort, you will then find yourself only in content creation mode and constantly feeling like 3 to 5 pieces of content is needed in order for you to reach the goals that you have set. But 3 to 5 times a day can really be misleading because it puts us in a rat race of like, I got to create, and likely, ideally, short form content, meaning, reels and very 30-second to 60-second videos or anything very quickly consumed type of content. You're putting this out there. It's not living long on a platform because the moment that you click share and post, it's out in the winds. You got to create something else in order to stay relevant. You find yourself in this space and this rat race, and it's so unsustainable, but you're taking the advice of 3 to 5 pieces of content per day, which at times does not seem realistic and sustainable. We have lives outside of the businesses that we are building and the brands that we have, and 3 to 5 pieces of content can at times seem very, very unsustainable. So that piece of content advice can sometimes be misleading, or at times misleading. Now, another piece of content advice that can be misleading is the consistency content advice, and this idea that being consistent. Consistency is really the byproduct of the systems and processes that you have in place. That means, do you have the capacity to show up as often as you want to? Do you have the systems and processes in place to really create content at the rate in which you want to? Now, if you don't, consistency will always be a hurdle for you, and it's always going to be something that you're striving to do versus letting it be a result of the work that you did in the back end. Consistency is only a byproduct. This is a byproduct of the work and systems and processes that you have in place to show up. It is not something where you spend all day long batch creating 30-second content ideas because you're trying to be consistent. If you did not have the space and the capacity to do so in the first place, you won't be consistent, because again, it's only a byproduct. Focusing on the systems and processes to have in place. What does your content workflow look like from the beginning to the end? How do you set aside time, and what time do you set aside time to create content? Are you creating content every day? Is that sustainable for your personal life schedule? Do you have days in your schedule and in your week where you focus solely on this type of content, or maybe that type of content? Maybe there's a day where you don't create content at all, but maybe you audit some content and then you repurpose your high performing content that you already created. There are other ways to be consistent, and other ways in which you can consistently show up without necessarily having to create brand new content and try to continuously stay relevant and remain relevant on the social media channels that you are using. Leverage those channels, yes, but for what you're ultimately trying to do with your brand and business, not for the simple sake of staying relevant on the social media feed itself. So there are a few things, that go into place when leveraging or trying to be consistent in your brand or for your business, but consistency itself is one of those content advice that really can be and is misleading. Now, the last content advice, and I'm only just pulling up my notes here, is that a lot of the content advice that we get is not really from the lens of something strategic. It's more so how to hack a algorithm, how to, achieve the greatest following or grow the massive following in a short amount of time on this platform. It's really from a lens of how to survive and scrape and a scarcity mindset on how to overcome the social media roadblocks that are in place to gain success on this platform. Very little of the content advice that we get is around strategy overall for your brand and for your business, which puts a lot of solopreneurs in a chokehold because we're spending so much of our time trying to maintain a level of engagement on a platform versus leveraging that platform for other aspects of our businesses. And I have a blog post on my blog at natashatony.com around having multiple touch points within your content strategy so that you're not only relying on one singular form of marketing or platform in order to reach the goals that you want to have set in your brand and for your business. Now, if you understand that there's a greater vision for your brand and for your business, you have a greater impact that you're trying to reach, then why are you focusing solely on one particular platform in order to get or reach those goals? Why don't you have multiple touch points laid out? Why don't you have an experience laid out for your audience to generate more awareness around you, around your business, and the impact that you have, that you want to create in the world, the value that you have, or the service that you offer? Why are you focusing solely only on this one platform? I can tell you why. Most of the time, we're focusing on the most easiest, low cost, low barrier to entry way to reach the goals that we want, to market our business, to deliver our message. But what happens is we spend so much time only focused on being having a tunnel vision on that one particular platform because it's trendy. Everyone's on it. Instead of incorporating platforms that actually help us have a greater impact in what it is that we do, the services that we offer, and the people that we want to serve. So here, where this content advice around, the content strategies that we're given, or the content advice that we're given, is really geared to someone else's use of a particular platform, the success that they reach on that platform, and they are putting out this advice not ill-intently or within the ill intent, but what's misleading is that we are doing the misleading. We are misleading ourselves and believing that because this person posted 55 times a day on this platform and they did all of these hacks and tricks and they've gained the following, they have all, all of this engagement. We want that too, believing that that's going to help us reach our goals, when in fact we have not gotten clear on our goals. We don't even understand or know why we're using that platform, only because we know that it is a platform that everyone else is using. I read some advice where it's not about any platform that you're using. It's about the platform that gives you the greatest and biggest impact. And that means if Instagram has been your thing for so long and it really needs to be YouTube, you're going to have to make that switch. If Facebook has been your thing so long, but it really needs to be LinkedIn, you're going to make that switch. You're going to need to make that switch. So I truly hope that this video helped you really tap into the mindset of understanding, wow, most of the content advice that we do get in this online space can be, and at times is misleading, not in, from in an ill-intent way. It's more so the way that it's being delivered, who it's delivering, their personal experience with the advice that they're giving, and just their overall personal experience, and really us not aligning the content advice that we're getting to the goals that we have set, and for the impact that we want to make in the brand and businesses that we have. So I truly hope that this video helped. If it did, go ahead and share this out to someone could benefit from this video. Subscribe, get the notification so when I go live next, and also sign up. You want to get some emails from me outside of the YouTube videos, definitely join my NTC online community in my email newsletter. So you can go ahead and subscribe. You can go to bit.ly/join_NTC. Actually, it's _join NTC, but the link is in the description box of this video for subscribing to the channel, subscribing to get the content playbook, and also just joining my email list to join the NTC community. I am Natasha Tony. Thank you for watching and have a good one.